Peak Wealth Management proudly presents the Trust the Plan podcast with Nick Hopwood and Jim Pilat, where we believe by providing education and guidance, we can help you retire with peak confidence. Now, here are your certified financial planners, Nick and Jim.
Welcome to the Trust the Plan podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Jim.
And Jim, today, one of my favorite topics, tracking your expenses and net worth.
Yeah.
We're actually going to focus on the net worth part this time because we talked way too much about the other part.
Yeah, expense tracking seems to weave itself into most of our conversations, I feel like.
Yep. So Thomas Koppelman, who's a financial advisor on Twitter, he's a good follow. He always puts up some good planning advice. And he's saying the best metric to track your financial progress. What is it? Net worth. So, Jim, what's a net worth mean?
Add up all the assets, take away all the liabilities, and what's the number?
There you go. So, it's not just enough to know what your net worth is today, but we want to track it over time. And it's really fun to see improvement as assets grow and liabilities decline. Mm-hmm. And so even if, you're looking at 1 month, presumably you're able to save money every month. Mm-hmm. So your net worth is growing and you're making payments on your car loan or your mortgage, and so your liabilities are going down. So regardless of what happens to your real estate values or portfolio values, the baseline is that your net worth should be growing every month. Mm-hmm. And that's a fun thing to look at. I've done this since before 2008, and in 2008, my computer crashed, and the Excel file was lost forever. So my data starts after that, 2008, 2009, which is why I say use Google Sheets. Yeah. And so it's always in the cloud and it can't be lost when your computer crashes. So Thomas provides a little sample here. He says, what's your bank, your investments, your real estate, life insurance, cash value, other assets. I'm not sure what that means here. But then you have credit cards, mortgages. So this person has a net worth of $2.3 million. We're going to take it to the next level here. And we're going to say, and this can be found at peakwm.com/expenses. This is just an image of our Excel file. Remember, Google Sheets, not Excel. So the expense tracking here is at the top. We have the months listed across the top, the categories in column A. And then we total up the expenses and we add the income. And so we have a household profit. But then on the second part is the net worth. Okay. So in this example, we have banking, right? So if we have a checking and a savings, then we have investments, our joint account, our Roth, our HSA, our 401k. And then we total those up. Then real estate, we have our house and our rental property and maybe our cottage or maybe none of the above. But, we want to fill that in. Then our debts, usually mortgage, home equity line, credit card. And then we total up the debt. And then we have each month, we're going to do this. We can see our total net worth growing over time. And also you can set it up so you have the year over year change. So we have monthly change, year over year change. And then we can see over years how exciting this can be. Okay. So I got this idea a long time ago, in 2005, when I read a book called The Millionaire Real Estate Investor, and the author, it's the Keller Williams guy, Gary Williams, I think. He would meet for breakfast every Tuesday with his buddy, every week, and they would update their net worth. They would update their net worth every week and share it with each other and talk about how they can grow it. Okay. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. Every week sounds a little too much, though. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I think once a month is a really good cadence. A lot of people might do it once a quarter, which is fine. But I like to do it every month. And I don't, share it with people at breakfast. But I do think that's a good idea. If you have someone who's a coach or hold you accountable and you do it together. But Jim, what jumps out to you on our spreadsheet here?
Yeah, I think when you first look at this spreadsheet, whether it's the expense tracking or the net worth, there's columns everywhere, there's all this stuff. But I think people really need to realize that this is not something to be intimidated by. This is simply filling in information. You know, when we talk about expense tracking, people think about budgets, and I'm going to have to decide how much I'm going to spend at Target next month. And I don't know because my kids might have this and I might have to do that. That's not what it is. It's just collecting data. What is the number? What are we spending? Same thing down with the net worth. What is the bank balance? What's the investment account balance? You know, what do we owe, you know, on the home equity line? All these different things. It's just collecting data. And then it just, you know, the program adds it up and, you know, tells you where you're at. But I think it's not an intimidating exercise at all. It's something that you actually, I think, grow to look forward to. I don't know about you.
I love it. Especially when the market's running, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun to see, okay, how did it go last month? You know, are we up? Are we down? We took on debt, you know, whatever it is, seeing it is what keeps you engaged with it.
For sure. You have this intimate sense of where your money is. Mm-hmm. I set a reminder every month on the first of the month to update the net worth statement. And like you said, you're just going to the different logins and typing in the values. Mm-hmm. Then you can analyze it, right? Mm-hmm. But just collect the data. That's it. And you don't have to do it in this kind of a spreadsheet either. You know, people used to use Mint. People use QuickBooks or Quicken. People use other apps that are too fancy for me. You know, I just like the spreadsheets personally.
Right.
But, you know, there's planwithpeak.com where it's going to track your net worth over time. But like the reason why I like to have the spreadsheet is because when, like, say, Ameritrade or Schwab or Fidelity are feeding the values into eMoney, planwithpeak.com, and there's a break in the connection, like all of a sudden there'll be a drop in your net worth for $100,000 for that month.
Right.
And it's fake.
Yeah.
Right. So the spreadsheet, you know, the tech is too good for itself, right? The spreadsheet, you know, is kind of like the plain vanilla way to do it. And I like it. And you can also do projections over time. Mm-hmm. Like I like to, for the mortgage part, figure out on your mortgage statement how much is the principal each month, and then add a formula in. So over time, you can anticipate the reduction in the mortgage over the years or over the months. And say, hey, in a year, our mortgage balance is going to be down to this much. And you know that with a high degree of certainty. Right? Unless you make extra payments or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, so you don't have to be like Gary Keller and do it every week, but you can be like me and do it every month. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy to talk to you about it every month too, if you want to have that kind of a conversation with a coach and to be accountable. So, closing thoughts.
I just think it's a great way to keep the big picture in mind. You know, sometimes we get buried in the day-to-day of the expenses. The credit card was high this month, this and that, like all these different things. It's easy to get kind of buried in those details. But looking at the net worth kind of really gives the big picture. Are we doing okay? Are we on track? Are we making good decisions? You know, when things get on this sheet, like, you know, if you put a liability on there, you got something on the home equity line, like it gets motivating to pay it off. It just helps keep you focused. So I like it. I think it's a good topic to revisit with the net worth tracking.
Very good. So the action item is to set that reminder on the first of the month, update your expenses and your net worth statement. And you can find all that information at peakwm.com/expenses. And if you're looking for a second opinion, you can also reach out to us and schedule an appointment online at peakwm.com.
Peak Wealth Management thanks you for watching and listening to the Trust the Plan podcast, featuring certified financial planners Nick Hopwood and Jim Pilat. If you enjoyed our program, please subscribe and share. If you'd like to learn more about our services, please visit peakwm.com. peakwm.com today. See you next week.